the area.
Well, exactly. They're trying to evacuate everyone to that community center as best they can. For those, obviously, as I was saying, there are some homes that are near that plant that are already on fire. They're trying to get the rest of those residents out, and any nearby communities asking them to leave, even if they have to, helping them leave and get to that community center as best they can.
And so, Brandon, you've got this nursing home where you talked about those dozens of people who are injured from the glass being blown out from the windows. Also, a middle school in this area, right, that is on fire, we're told.
That's correct. A middle school is on fire, and that's just one of the numerous buildings right now that they're responding to. And again, you know, we're trying to get as much information as we can, but every time we call, you know, obviously, there was one call I made
at a
to
fertilizer
the
plant,
sheriff's
Waco,
department
Texas.
down there, and in the background I could just hear phones ringing, and the woman there, as nice as she was, said, "Look, I'd love to answer your questions, but I can't. I've got people calling 911."
No, when they're swamped, they've got to get these injured folks taken care of.
Exactly.
Brandon, while you've been talking, we've been showing really some incredible images that people have been posting on our Fox 4 Facebook page, and we're hearing stories, and like you said, you got a text and a phone call from people, you've been hearing the stories. We heard from one woman who was on 35 at the time of the explosion. She said that she saw kind of this fireball, this huge, go 100 feet in the air, at least 100 feet wide, shoot into the air.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't doubt it. You know, I kind of did a Google map measurement, and from the area of West up to Ellis County is a good 45, 50 miles.
Here's something to interject here. We talked about the instability of this fertilizer. Maybe the Waco Tribune is reporting that several firefighters and others were injured in an apparent fertilizer plant explosion. So that leads me to believe the firefighters were there fighting a fire and were on scene and were injured. So that might have been the ignition. If firefighters were there and are now injured fighting it, that may answer some questions about exactly how this started. Somebody did get through to dispatch, Brandon, from the Waco paper, the Waco Tribune Herald, and all they got out of them was, "We have a lot of injured here," and they had to get off the phone just like you reported.
And
you mentioned that firefighter injured. I mean, it's possible too, and I don't know this for sure, but it's quite possible that they were injured with those secondary explosions.
Well, and that, Brandon, area hospitals were told, and medical centers there, they put out this mass casualty call to all the staff, so everybody get in, do what they can to help. And boy, this is when people really become heroes again. Those stories of the troopers putting people in their cruisers, getting them to facilities where they can get some help.
The Associated Press reports the explosion was reported about 7:50 in a frantic radio call from the scene of the fire at West Fertilizer. So it sounds as if there was a fire, and then all heck broke loose from there. All right, so west, I think we've all passed by there, headed south to anywhere. If you're going to Austin or whatever, and a lot of us stop there. So there is a large-scale emergency situation going on, rescues, fires burning, and as a matter of fact, all kinds of rescue crews from North Texas headed south to do whatever they can.
And Steve, as you mentioned, this happened about 7:50. Brandon Todd, who's with us on the phone, telling us there have been secondary explosions since this initial large explosion that people are describing just as absolutely huge, and that we're seeing the pictures of dozens of people injured, at least 30 from this one particular nursing home. We've got, sounds like, gosh, a dozen other structures on fire because of this blast, the middle school, the nursing home. We heard a story, one woman, the front of her house was blown off.
Houses knocked off their foundations, that type of thing. And we did, when we saw the Google Earth images, how in close proximity those buildings were. The fertilizer plant, the school just down the block, and right across the apartment and the senior citizens living center.
All right, so Brandon Todd, you're going to stay there on the scene, gather what information you can. I know you said, you know, those first responders, they are busy right now, but we're going to check in with you throughout this newscast, throughout Fox 4 News at 10 as well. We want to remind people, go to our website for more, myfoxdfw.com, and continue to post on our Facebook page.
And the Sky 4 is headed to the scene,
yes,
too.
Absolutely.
We should tell you that. We'll have live Sky 4 pictures soon.